So what you see now are what the back sides of each of those note cards that you saw the picture of, what they're going to look like. Okay, so basically I can go back and show you a picture. This is what the front sides look like. Okay, we filled those in right here on this page. I didn't take a picture of the back side, but this is what the back sides would look like. Okay, so each card has on the front the characteristics about those angles, and on the back they have an example problem. Okay. You have to remember the equations or the formula of what the relationship is among the angles. So for example, vertical angles, okay, are equal to each other. So that's why it says angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. So that means that if these two angles right here are vertical angles, I'm going to set them equal to each other. 3x minus 2 equals 19. So when I get ready to solve this, I'm going to just solve for x by adding 2 to both sides. And I get 3x equals 21. If I solve this equation for x, I divide by 3 from both sides, and I'm going to get the x equals 7. That's the value of the variable. One part of your homework is going to ask you to give the value of the variables using either vertical angles, complementary angles, or supplementary angles. So you're using algebra. Okay. Now, and we know that this one is 19 degrees, so we know this angle must be 19 degrees as well. And if you weren't sure, you could plug it back in. 7 times 3 is 21 minus 2. That, in fact, equals 19 because they're vertical angles. Now, complementary angles have a different relationship. Their two angles add up to 90 because here is a right angle that they are together forming. Okay. So when I set those up, I'm not going to set them equal to each other. I'm going to take this angle, 2x plus 5, and I'm going to add to it this angle, 3x plus 15, and set them equal to 90. And then I'm going to combine like terms and simplify the equation. Okay? So if I do that, I get 2x and 3x is 5x, and 5 and 15 is 20. And so now I have to subtract 20 from both sides. And I get 5x equals 70. If I divide by 5 so I can solve the equation for x, I'm going to get that x equals 14. Okay? Now I could find out what the measurement of each of these angles are. I would just plug 14 into this and then plug 14 into this. Or plug 14 into this and find out what it is and then subtract from 90. So for example, 14 times 2 is 28, and 28 plus 5 is 33. So this is a 33-degree angle. So if I want to find out angle 2, I could just do 90 minus 33. And so if I did that, I would get that the measure of that one would be a 57-degree angle. Okay, so angle 2 would be 57 degrees. But if they don't ask that, if all they're asking is for us to simply solve for x, then we just find the value of the variable by using the equation. And then the supplementary angles, remember they share a straight angle. A straight angle is 180 degrees. So the measure of those are going to add up to 180. So 4x minus 8 plus 52 equals 180. And then I just have to combine some like terms. Negative 8 and 52 combine to make 44. And then I subtract 44 from both sides. And I get 4x equals 136. So to solve, I divide by 4. And I get that x equals 34. Okay? Now, this one already gave you 52. So even, you don't have to plug 34 into this and multiply with 4 and subtract 8 to find that angle. You could have just said 180 minus 52, okay? And that would give you what this angle measurement is. But right now, they're not asking for that. Right now, they're just asking for you to simply tell what the measure of x is, okay? So that's what the back side of your flashcards are going to look like. So when you have these, I know you won't have them this week to study, okay? Now there's a picture that I sent you what the back sides do look like. I did send that to you on the pictures that I sent. But when you actually have them in hand next week, you'll have those going forward, okay? So we're gonna stop the video here because the last things that we're gonna do in this chapter are to actually get into the very beginnings of doing proofs. And we're going to be dealing specifically with paragraph proofs, which are kind of a pain because you have to write a lot. But most of the time, I won't ask you to do a paragraph proof. I will ask you to do what's called a 2-column proof, but we don't really get into that until later, okay?